Right, we going? We good?
Yeah, we're live.
All right, chat. Hello. This is episode 3 of On After Storm. This is long and short of the law with Delilah, the long, and Nala whenever her toaster warms up. The short of the law. Marshals. Yeah. So Delilah, give us a quick sort of like who you are, who you play in Gold Rush, and what you do.
Well, hi, Delilah. My character has been around for quite some time. Um, but I am a stay-at-home person and I video game all day pretty much. But yeah, no, what else is there really to say? It's Delilah. There's not much else to say about her really. I don't,
No, no, no. There's like
Yeah, there's
okay.
lots to say about it.
she's
Come on.
she's
Well, let's start
she's
here. How
yeah.
how
Mhm.
how long have you been RPing for? Did you start on RDR? Did you start on Gold Rush? Did you start on something else? Like, what was your sort of like journey?
Okay. Yeah. So, I probably started role playing. Oh God. Maybe about 6 or 7 years ago.
Mhm.
Some of the friends that I game with, were playing GTA, playing 5M,
Right?
and role playing, and I got into it with them on that, and um, eventually Red M came out, and I had no idea. I'd never even heard of Red Dead Redemption, the game,
Yeah.
so I had no idea what it was. And then one of our friends looked into it and started kind of showing me some of the things that were possible and everything, and it looked very interesting and fun. And I gave it a shot. Started playing on a server called Frontier, I think is what it was. And this is like way back in the beginning when Red M first started, where you could
Yeah.
only have like 30 people in a server. So there were multiple servers for different towns.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I started playing then, and that's also when I created Delilah and kind of started her story.
Mhm.
Um, so I'd say probably she's probably been a character that I've had for maybe about 5 years or so now.
And have you always been a law? So I know you as like the tall lawman, right?
Yeah.
Have you always been law, or have you did you start as like a civilian, or what was your sort of like I want to be law, or did you just go with the flow and just became law?
No, I originally started out as just a hunter.
Yeah.
For her, she hunted, and there was actually a short stint where she was a gunsmith, and it worked very differently back then than it does in our server in Gold Rush right now.
Mhm.
But um, yeah, she was a gunsmith for quite a while. I'd say maybe a good 6 months or so she spent doing that, and then um, her story eventually developed where um she was hunting still and selling meat to the sheriff's office. And then the sheriff one day was like, "Hey, what do you think about becoming a lawman?" And that's when her law career started, and it has been a constant ever since. There was a short stint though in
Oh,
her law career where she actually stopped being law for, I think, maybe 3 or 4 months.
right.
So,
And did you ever? I know you obviously play different characters for the server now, but have you ever had a criminal side of character like focused, or has it just sort of been something you dipped your toe in, or is it just always like law is like your bread and butter?
I've done a little bit. Not some. I have tried to do the Crim RP in Red M. Um, I didn't have the opportunity to really get into too much outside of being on Delilah. Um, it was just always more fun for me to be on that character than any other character.
Yeah.
And I just I don't know what it is, but I'm just not good at at the bad stuff, at being bad, I guess, or like
Right.
being the bad guy or whatever. Like I don't know if it's like a struggle for me personally to kind of have that RP or what it necessarily is, but I always kind of revert to going back to trying to be like, I don't know if nice is the right word because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
sure very
Diplomatic.
many people would call Delilah nice, but yeah, it's just not something that ever has come naturally, I guess, for me.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it feels more difficult to play a crim than it does law.
I don't know, some of the things you hear about the marshals in character, like, you guys are fucking it's fucking, like, the thin line between corruption and fucking
Right, right.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
you're
Oh
talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah, I'm too
Oh,
nice
there
to
we
play a
go.
marshal. I'll play a crim. You know.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
Hello, Nala, hello.
Hey.
Sorry, guys, Nala was late getting her because apparently her PC is a toaster and takes, like, 45 minutes to warm up, so she's here now.
Is she?
Alright, so yeah.
No.
Yeah. Nala, talk, sorry, quickly.
Hey, what's up?
Oh,
There
yeah,
you
there you go.
there you go, there you go.
Sorry.
No, you're alright, you're alright. Okay, so always law because that's what feels natural to you.
yeah. I
Or
mean, and
you go on.
it's kind of also the the things that I've done, like some of the jobs that I've had in my real life too. I kind of have a little bit of more knowledge. Like I used to work for a police station, so when it comes to doing like the records and the warrants and things like that, like I have firsthand knowledge, so that also helps with it coming a little bit more natural to know that information and kind of know how to handle and like what would be considered quote unquote legal and not legal, right? Like
Yeah.
it's easier to flow that way because of what I do know. So
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that down the line because obviously you two are
yeah.
marshals at heart, so we will get into like the law stuff. And so
Hmm.
you started in GTA. Were
Hmm.
you what was sort of like your path in GTA? Were you just civilian? Did you go into like being a cop there or
I actually started as a criminal in GTA. My friends, they all like obviously brought me in with their group, and they had this little gang. But my that group of friends that I have, they're mostly Australian. They're all Australian actually. So they're a little bit on the more goofy trolley side, as I like
yeah?
to call them. So they like it was never criminal, like the hardcore criminal things. It was just like, little petty stuff and just more so of kind of like being silly. And
So you weren't
just
on the south side, you know, being a baller, you know,
no,
gang banging or something
no.
like that there. No.
Yeah, no, nothing. And the funny thing was, is like the character I actually had to start then ended up dating, uh, the head of the police department too. So
Oh, well, that sounds like corruption in Gold Rush.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it's always kind of been something to do with law, which is weird thinking about it, but
Like, we'll not call it a fetish, but we'll call it a fetish. You know? All right, and Nala, hello, welcome. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, when you started role playing, did you start in RDR? Did you, come from GTA or anything else, and how you got going?
Oh man, so this is gonna sound kind of lame. I actually started roleplay if you kind of consider it on Gary's mod,
Hey, the role play's role play.
Star Wars RP. And then it
Oh
just
my god.
I know started that about I want to say like 8 years ago. And I was on the very beginning of that, and then that kind of just phased out, and then I went into GTA for a while. And GTA, it's great, but it's like the same cycle of stuff starts, and then things aren't normally like consistent with servers. So then I moved on to Red M. A friend of mine was like, "Hey, why don't we try Red M?" And then joined Gold Rush, and kind of been there since.
And same as Delilah, like always law, or were you criminal? Like, what was Nala's sort of like journey at the start of like playing on Gold Rush?
So with Nala started out as law, because she was the daughter of Tala, who was the ESO sheriff at the time. But when I originally started on Gold Rush, I did not start as law. I did have a criminal character, and then I had a doctor.
And how did you find, like, was this on Nala or was this on a different character? Was this like
This was a different character.
Right, okay. And then just law takes over, or it is just what you find you fit? So you like Delilah, where like you feel bad being a criminal,
I would
but you'll be corrupt as fuck as a marshal, you know.
Look, hey, if the story fits, but I wasn't really the whole criminal thing. I wasn't really good at it. I felt like I wasn't building appropriate stories for people, so I kind of phased out of that, and I moved to the doctor thing because I felt like it was better getting a hand on roleplay in that regard. I feel like you see a lot from both sides.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of slowly phased out when I started law, and I was like, oh shit, really like this kind of roleplay. You're always involved in a lot of interesting storylines and kind of get to see it like that, so I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, because in the criminal world, right? You've criminal people you started as criminal, right? And then they become law, right? And the saying is like, shit criminals become law, right? Because they don't know how to do crime. And then, the shittest of criminals become bounty hunters because they're not good enough to become law, you know?
Damn. Now you mention it.
Look, in character. But so you just find that like that's your fit. Law is your fit. Do you? Well, this is sort of for both of you. What is it about law that you like? Is it the fact that you guys have to react to everything? Unless you're lucky and come across something, do you guys like the fact that you could be sitting on the porch on fucking Valentine or something like that there, keeping it warm, and then something happens, or because law is very reactionary, right? You guys, unless something happens, are always like one step behind, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I first started at law, um, originally way back then, um, it was almost immediate that I was getting pulled into these very big stories that had to do with the people that invited me to be law. So like the sheriff had asked me in character, hey, you want to be law? Come be a lawman. And I kind of got pulled into being with him and the undersheriff and kind of shown the ropes through them. And the stories were almost immediate. Like there was a story where the sheriff was getting threatened by somebody in his past, and involved me, and it was fun. Like it was fun to be involved in all that. It was fun to try to figure out like all these clues left behind and figure out why this is happening, who is doing this, and why they're doing it. And um it was just being a part of that story, and then being a part of like people wanting to I guess come after us because we wore a badge type thing. It was just, for me, it was just the story, I guess, is the simple
Yeah.
answer.
Nala?
For me, it would also be the story. I mean, the way I've kind of always played characters are kind of like yes and like go with the flow. Like whatever happens, you just kind of go with it. And with being law, it's constantly something's going on. Specifically, like with a marshal, there's constant investigations and all that kind of stuff, and so many different dynamic stories. And it's cool to be like the law standpoint where you get to investigate that or be a part of it.
And then how did your characters then? So you both law, it's Gold Rush. It's 2.0, 3.0. Whenever you started, when did they obviously your assistant deputy, which means you're semi useless. There's deputy, who can maybe read and write and get a good description, and then there's like all the ranks. How long into your like law careers on your characters did the fork come up where it was like marshal's office? Because obviously in character marshals are Billy Big Balls, right? They're the fucking top of the food chain. When did that happen for your characters, and how did it happen?
Mine's less interesting, so I'll let Nala go first.
I mean, I don't know if mine's really that interesting, but so Nala was ESO for about a year.
And is this in
And
3.0? Sorry, is this 3.0, 2.0? What is this?
2.0 into 3.0.
Okay.
The big thing, I don't know if you were around during 2.0, Solomon Town.
Yeah.
That was Nala's raid for the illegal ammunition and all that stuff. And that was kind of like the first big investigation that she really did, and then got involved with the marshal's office, and it was like, oh shit, this is interesting, this is cool, this is like what I want to do. I want to do these big investigations that kind of have these big outcomes.
Mhm.
So that was kind of the turning point for her. And then when she got into command and then got more comfortable with that was when she was like, oh, hey, this marshal thing, I want to do that. I want to do more of these investigations.
Yeah. Or Delilah, sorry.
Well, for if we're speaking in terms of Gold Rush, Delilah has technically been a marshal since day one. Um, so I don't know how many people know the transition, like from with Gold Rush, the start of it. Majority of us came from another place, and Mafia and Jed had started Gold Rush. Um, so I was a marshal in the previous server,
Yeah.
and when I came over to Gold Rush, I was invited to continue to be a marshal, and so I started basically as a marshal rank now, and then I think maybe a month or two into the server, is when I got, like, I guess my first promotion into a supervisory marshal position, which at that point in time, there wasn't a whole lot of difference at all between being a marshal and a supervisory marshal.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, for Gold Rush, Delilah has always been a marshal.
And marshals in themselves, now, obviously without, giving away meta and stuff like that there, but describe like the basic differences for people of like, high command, normal ASO, normal WSO, like
Yeah.
what's like the fundamental next step up that marshals have over normal run-of-the-mill law.
I would say the biggest difference would just kind of be to simply say they're federal. They have the ability to oversee any kind of case, any kind of arrest anywhere in the Commonwealth, with the exception, I mean, obviously, like the Commonwealth, and saying
Yeah.
that part, Mexico, obviously, we don't, but yeah, they're federal. Um, and the emphasis for marshals is more so doing like the big investigations, the things that are like murder cases or torture cases, like the real big stuff, the real big things that aren't like a minor robbery or something like that, or somebody getting beat up and
Yeah.
punched and then their gun taken type situation. Like, where our focus is to kind of do the big cases like that and help the departments in that regard of kind of having that knowledge, I guess, of like investigation knowledge over
Mhm.
somebody who is just a deputy that normally would only kind of do bank jobs or anything like that, and arrest people type situation, if
So
that
would it
makes sense.
would it sort of be like, say Benji and I are like, deputies, right? Just normal
Mhm.
deputies, and like we come across some knowledge. Do you guys take investigation? Like, do the marshals allow others to investigate stuff, or do they, does it have to go through them? Whether it's like, rule wise, or is there space there for you guys to be like, yeah, investigate this, keep us up to date on it, and then like you would come in for like the final blows, or is it that sort of path for like investigation work for like yourselves and like people who are below you? Like obviously you can control. Like I'm sure you guys can like pull WESO and ESO and bring them anywhere, right? If they're underneath your badge, I guess.
Yeah, so like so the departments are welcome to do their own investigations. Obviously if they ever have questions, they can come to us if they need to. The only time that we would really kind of take an investigation from a department would be if it crosses their jurisdiction lines, because that runs into a problem where you have WESO over acting as law and ESO and back and
Yeah.
forth. So we take on those cases.
You're the bridge at that point.
Yeah, and then we also would take on anything again that's like super big, like if there's like a triple murder or a murder at all, or anything big like that where it's going to require probably an instance where somebody's going to get put on JD.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like for we kind of took more of the cases in 3.0. 4.0, the marshal's office is kind of taking a step back to allow the departments to have that ability to do more of their investigations, and kind of let them have that kind of fun, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say, to be able to do their own investigations and kind of like have that part, like we're always there if they need us, and they do call on us, when they have questions and they aren't sure about how to appropriately handle it or whatever, like, so they'll ask us. But we do trying to, at least for 4.0 right now, we're trying to let them kind of take control of their own investigations unless we have to do, like,
Yeah,
we
sort
are
of.
needed for something.
Yeah, sort of like
specifically,
an oversight type thing, unless it's like,
yeah.
I don't know,
Mhm.
Is
fucking
there
pumpkin gets murdered and fucking,
Right.
is
Yeah.
there yeah, you say like you're stepping back and you're letting like the ESO and WSO investigate these things, but is there like are you pushing them to investigate their own things? Because obviously there's anyone who's been law, I suppose, throughout 3.0 or whatever, are kind of going to have the subconscious, like, oh, that's not our job, that's the marshal's job. So they'll just disregard it completely. Like,
We
yeah,
have been trying to push them more, like, I think, oh, what case was it? I know there was something, I can't remember right off the top of my head. There was something that WESO had reached out to us about, and I remember telling that, like, I got sent a telegram and I told the deputy, go ahead and keep an eye on this, keep, collecting your information and getting information and everything, and just keep me informed, basically, is what I told
yeah,
them. Like, if it becomes something that we do need to step in on, we're happy to. But when it arises where the conversation is had, oh, we have something for the marshals, we try to, if it's something that they can handle, we do try to tell them, like, okay, you're doing a great job, continue getting this information, we're going to let you handle it,
Yeah.
and you can come ask us questions. If it turns into this or this, then let us know and we can come help and step in. But the main idea, yeah, is to try to let them continue to do the investigations as much as possible.
Mhm.
Can we talk a little bit? Let Nala answer this one. Do you
Mhm.
feel like there is? Do you feel like marshals are feared enough by criminals in the server, or on any server? Like in general, marshals, they're scary, right? No matter how hardened of a criminal you are, they're
Yeah,
scary.
I think it's something that is slowly getting better over time. I think with 3.0 we were we were kind of there a lot more often, but I don't know if many people have noticed 4.0. I feel like we've made ourselves a little bit more scarce with dealing with things. So it's one of those things of like when a marshal shows up, it should be like an oh shit moment.
Yeah, here comes the fucking white hat. Fuck.
Yeah, and I feel like we're getting slowly towards that a little bit more. So I would say it's getting better, but it could do like a little bit.
Yeah, because like there's this thing that if so for I use for example, I was robbing a grave a couple of weeks back. Noella turned up on her own in Emerald, right? Now there was two of us and one marshal. If that's a lawman, sure, we could have done something, robbed them for turning up by themselves. But a marshal, we touch that marshal and someone finds out, I mean, goodbye, innit?
Yeah.
It's literally that simple. And I just feel like, yeah, there's not enough. One marshal versus 3, you're still like, nah, I'm alright, thanks. So let me just talk about the progression from law to marshal. Is that something that can still be done? Is there a way to that?
Who do you want to answer that one?
You're both
Hey,
experts.
you're the boss lady, okay?
Oh, geez. Okay. Um, uh, Currently, right now, the marshals aren't planning on bringing up anyone else. Uh, Being a marshal is a very rewarding and a very fun position within the role play within the server. Um, but I think we've kind of gotten away from the purpose of having a marshal's office. And part of that is that I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with bringing on deputies into the marshal's office because eventually, I mean, we're going to need marshals as long as we have the marshal's office and we put the things in place that the marshal's office is required for. We're going to obviously need marshals. Um, that being said, is that like sometimes there can be a misguided notion of I'm going to join the marshal's office and specifically for no other reason to become a marshal. And that's not a bad goal to have, but it's not really fair to be law and only have that goal in mind and forget the reason why you're a deputy in the first place. Because the marshal's office, the server can run just fine. The economy and everything, RP, can all completely be done without a marshal's office. We are not necessary. We're not required.
Yeah.
It can all be done without us. And what can't be done is not having law at all. We can't run a proper role play server that's meant to be, this Red Dead Redemption era without law. And I think that sometimes people lose sight of why they're in the department in the first place. And well, right now we're not bringing on marshals because we're trying to, again, step back in a way where we're taking all this work from the departments and they're not just mindlessly arresting people at these scenes and then they don't get to do any of the fun and interesting things that make people want to join the office in the first place. So
From what I'm getting from that is you guys want marshals to be a presence, but you want marshals to be like the special weapon that ESO or the DA or WESO brings out on those like larger things.
Purely for
Right.
roleplay purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, like that was kind of like the original concept of the marshal's office was to be an office that when you saw marshals coming into town, you knew something big was going to happen. You knew that it was for a reason. You knew that it was because there was something or someone that was more so than just a regular arrest or regular like
Yeah.
crime being committed that they were there for.
Yeah, rather than
Uh,
Jimmy John and his 5 fucking swamp herb, it's fucking Billy
right.
Bob and his 6
Yeah.
murders and yeah.
Right. And and that's not to say like we still have these characters and obviously they're still a part of the lore and everything like that. So I mean obviously you're still going to see us around and involved in things and helping where we can. Um so we're still going to be out there, we're still going to be involved in things. But our main purpose is to, focus on assisting the
Yeah.
departments with things instead of being a big force that is controlling everything, I guess is the best way to say it. Like
Yeah.
obviously we're a federal entity, quote unquote. So we can make those big decisions when it comes to arrests and things like that, but our main goal is to assist the departments, is to be there for them and help them where they need it. And if they have like, for raids and things like that, or search warrants, or whatever the case may be. We're there to assist, and we're there to kind of show people, like, hey, this is a big deal. They've brought in the marshal's office. Like, that it should be a big deal. It should
Yeah.
be a big thing that people recognize as, oh shit,
Yeah, I
we're in
think
trouble because
yeah.
they've called in the marshal's office.
Yeah, I think well, especially in 3.0, like I think it's just martial is just another law. Doesn't really matter, right? Like
Yeah.
RP wise, like if you have a business, I remember this from 3.0. The Bastille was getting shut down, and Virgil was there masked up with fucking Bill, and like there's like 15 other law. Pumpkin was there. It was the whole fucking thing, and this, it looked so fucking good, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, and those are the kind of scenes that we want to be able to have, and to show people, like, the marshal's office is leading the charge on, like, if you, like, somebody does something they're not supposed to or whatever, and we need to go in and raid the business or shut down the business or whatever. We have that ability to show that force of, like, the marshal's office is coming, you better be ready, type
Yeah,
thing.
I do like that. Can we switch it over to what I really enjoyed in 3.0, but never it never really hit its peak. The like the court RP, like marshals are involved a lot with that, right?
Hmm.
Now that stuff, I remember, was it early 3.0 car? Like
Which one?
we used to go to the courts, like they used to have their open courts and
Oh,
stuff.
the open courts, yeah.
Yeah, like that was really good, but I don't know if it's my time zone, but yeah, that sort of was never as strong before. But marshals have a lot to do with that. Like I remember going in, being searched by the marshals, like making sure you had no weapons, and it was really good. That side of it's really good. So how's that RP from your point of view? Do you enjoy that, miss that, or not the best?
Nala.
Yeah, come on, Nala.
Oh no, she. I wonder if her computer's dying again.
Oh no.
Quick, cover for it, go.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, in the time period, marshals were appointed by judges. That's why a judge created them and their department and sent them out in the world. So they were directly working for judges. So that is a very big part of what the marshal's office also does. We're in charge of judicial security, making sure the judges stay safe, and we do bring on other deputies to help us with that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Court RP can be very difficult, especially with having so many different people from around all over the world in different time zones. So facilitating court RP can be very difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, court RP it's a lot of fun. We tried to incorporate things with the judicial security, and making things more interesting. And we set up, teams for judicial security, and we do trainings now for judicial security, so that we have a plan in place and everything. And not to give too much away, so that people know what
Yeah.
we do, but
Oh yeah, no
but yeah,
meta, no
it's
meta, but all the
yeah,
meta.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but all the meta, yeah. We're trying to, do more fun things, so that so more can be done in regard to, instead of just having a judge show up and the court happens and then the judge disappears. So we're trying to really kind of bring more RP in that sense of also having, you know, a judge being escorted to and from court, and the potential of whatever could happen. Having a judge out in the world that can be talked to by anybody if you run into them, or things like that. And so that is also part of what we do as law, is make sure that we don't lose a judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I got an idea. Right, take it or leave it. Um, so as my criminal character, I'm 3.0, I was on JD, and you have like these frequent visits, like, and then the DA will come over with marshals, and then you pay your bond or whatever, and sign your money, like sign your whatever, and like that's happening so much with so many crims, like in a short space of time. So say like a month, you'd have a few people on JD, right? Is there possible where maybe the marshals can transport the prisoners to the court and you can do like that would be really cool? So you have like a
Yeah.
hearing rather than just because there is opportunity for the court RP, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
And we have tried we've had cases where we've done that as well too, where we've taken the prisoner to court ourselves and things like that, and that's typically what we will do as well too, because when people are sent to Sisika, obviously the script keeps people in Sisika, so we have to be there to be able to get them out and
Yeah.
and take away their jail time and everything, so we do have to be involved in that regard. um it's also, again, it's sometimes it's difficult to get enough people to be able to facilitate everything, because sometimes it has to be at certain times, and we're also like, that's kind of also a reason why we implemented the DOC as well, to kind of help with that, to have like another way so that these people could be transported and we can still transport the judge as well. So it's just kind of the goal, the idea is there for 4.0, and we're hoping to be able to do it. We just have to have the means to do it, I
Yeah.
guess.
yeah. That's always the limit.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's definitely the idea that we definitely want to have those things, because we want to have that potential of role play in transporting people out of Sisika to their court hearings and things like that. So it's definitely something we want.
Because I'm like my character's never been on JD, but I'm assuming that a lot of it is unfortunately done through tickets because of like time zones, and I'm assuming the goal is to have a judge for like this sort of time of the day and a judge for that time of the day, so that things are more icy than like through Discord, or is that sort of like the end goal you hope for 4.0 as well?
Um, Hopefully, we did have a new judge at the end of 3.0 going into 4.0. LJ, he used to be a
Mhm.
marshal.
Yeah.
Um, his PC has exploded,
Oh.
sort of like
Oh,
Nala's has. um, but yeah, like we were all set and ready to go to like have this new available RP around judge type stuff and all of that, and hopefully having it more readily available. And then that kind of got a kink in the works because he can't log in at
Yeah.
all. He can't even turn on his computer right now. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it is the hope to have that, because I mean, there's people that do want to play these roles as far as like lawyers go, and people, criminals being on JD and the marshal's office and law. So you have all these people that do want to play these parts in all of this. It's just, again, like one tiny kink in it can
Yeah.
disrupt the
Yeah.
whole system, unfortunately. But yeah, that would be the end goal, is to hopefully have an availability of more opportunity for that role play to be out there on a regular basis.
And then, well, I suppose that moves us on. What are you thinking about role play overall? From three, we had obviously, um, Mexicans on last week. Some of them played law for a little bit. They were saying about like 3.0 burnout, or it was a public
Hmm.
server and fucking, you're running, you're 24/7, just one thing to the next thing, the next thing. How are you? And if Nala's toaster's working, how are you, how do you like the pace of law from 3.0 to 4.0, and like the quality of people you're running into, whether they're civilian, criminal. How's that for you?
Nala, you got anything?
Yeah, I got this. I'm sorry,
Okay,
my
good.
toaster.
No, you're good.
I would say so far I'm liking the quality. I know a couple people feel like it's slow, but I mean it's still kind of there was just a war, right? People are still technically getting on their feet and everything. But I would say there is still enough going on. I look forward to seeing the other things slowly build up over time. There could probably be a little bit more um, generic crime stuff for law to deal with, but martial wise, the way it's always worked is everything normally just fucking comes in waves. So I think we have a decent amount to do law wise, and the quality is pretty good right now. Like, there's people leaving scenes behind at things,
Yeah,
directing people to know, like, oh, it possibly could be this person. I think it's definitely getting better.
and I don't know whether you guys experience this, but some of the law guys we've talked to about law characters, they were saying like burnout on law is a big thing, where you're literally going from like a grave robbery to a fucking bank to a store to a still to there was no not that, like, that's not fun, but there's no downtime to like RP going over like, oh, this investigation, that investigation. Are you guys happy with your characters with the slowdown because the quality's better? Or do you think like I just want this pick up a little bit?
I mean, I think so. I think that it's for marshals, it's going to be a little bit different because we don't necessarily respond to all of the basic calls. Um, from my experience, and 3.0 for sure, definitely, I can understand the burnout, and I know exactly what they're talking about because in 3.0 there was definitely it was bam bam bam, one call after the other after the other after the other. Like we would literally have days where one store would get hit and then people were barely getting if they did catch somebody, they were barely getting them back to the office and starting the process of processing them only for another bank to be or a bank or store to go off. And then people were scrambling to think, okay, who's going to stay here and process these people and get them sent off? And who's going to go respond to that call? And it
Yeah.
was literally one after the other. And that's kind of also why you saw like the increase in the cooldown on stuff. Cause it was literally one after the other, after the other, after the other. And it was nonstop. And people were actually who played law, people were actually logging out of the server just to get a break.
Yeah. I'm assuming like whenever the power went out in St. D and then the bank, the jewelry store, the fucking pawn
Yeah.
shop, and the art
Mhm.
gallery were all hit at the same time. It was just like,
Oh, yeah.
what the fuck do you do? I'm herding cats here. It's like nothing.
Yeah.
It was everything.
Yeah, it's
Because I
it
can
can
look,
definitely be a lot
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. Because with our characters being in St. D, as soon as the power went out, fucking everyone was running around. It was
Yeah.
like, who's hitting
Yeah.
what? This isn't hit yet. Let's go.
But
You
then,
guys must
yeah, go on.
go on. No, no, no.
Like, I also think that there's other ways to look at it. So, if you think back in 3.0, like you had whitelisted gangs. Each gang had 15 members. You had about it must have been nearly 10. So that's like 150 people that needs to do crime, and
Right.
when there's only like 4 banks, like there's a problem because you need
Yeah.
4 bank you need to do like 30 of them or more for everyone to do one. And like I feel like it's just a payout problem, right? If you had a bank that could only be done once every 7 days by one individual group and have a big payout, you wouldn't have to do it so often. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like
Yeah.
even a bank for me, like I think in 3.0, what do we do, Carl? We done like probably 3 banks
3 or 4
the
banks.
whole
Yeah.
in a year, like because it's not the most fun RP for me, but like yeah, I'd rather do a bank once a month and maybe a store once a week and have it payout for the guys. But then, yeah, it's
It'd
tough
be a
balancing that,
bigger
right?
thing, yeah.
Because then ESO don't, or WSO, they don't want to. They're bored when they jump on, so it's like a balance. Like, yeah.
So speaking of lawmen,
Yeah.
what do you guys think makes a good law character, like a good law player? What are your sort of like, they need to have this, or I would like them to have this?
For somebody to play law,
Yeah. Like, what do you think makes a good law player? Good
Yeah,
law character.
when you meet someone from either sheriff's office and you go, oh, this lawman's good. Like, what is it that makes you think that?
This is gonna sound very generic, but a good attitude. Like, if you
PMA.
yeah. Yeah, just like you have to have a good attitude, and you have to remember that like we're all here for fun, and yes, you have a job to do in as a lawman. But it can be very rewarding. It can be very fun with the right attitude.
Nala makes a good lawman.
I would agree with that, and I would also say someone who is a bit more, I guess, creative in their approach. Like you see them look into things, they kind of they go with the scene, right? Like
Yeah. So the opposite of that is what annoys you?
Toy Story.
You see someone playing law and you just think, fuck. What's the most annoying thing about people that play law? And if you want to name names, you can name names, but
I'm gonna refrain from that one, but um, just people that they're not doing the RP. They're not becoming law for the right reasons. They're doing it just to
Shoot people. What? Who
shit
said
on
that?
people.
the
Yeah,
mechanic,
no,
yeah.
100%. Like because I've been, like I said prior, I've been doing this for a very long time. I've seen all different types of people on the spectrum of how they approach different people. And now I am very much of the opinion that nobody is perfect. People have their bad days or good days, but there are definitely people that come in and put on a badge and immediately just the it's not, they're not doing it for the role play. They're doing it because they believe that it gives them some kind of sense of power.
Yeah, authority, yeah.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Like there's 100% been times where Delilah has come across that way to people, and I completely understand that. And I'm sure that there's going to be people that are probably rolling their eyes at what I say if that regard. But
But she does
I
have power.
also right, but
A
my
deputy
character has
doesn't, right?
also been through things that make her the way that she is. There's things that make her respond to certain situations the way that she does, and I always try to think about like the people on the other side of things. I always try to remember that there's somebody else playing the other character, and I don't know. It's like at being law, there are times to be aggressive, and there are times to be assertive, and there are times to be demanding. Um, but in regards to being just an everyday law person, you have to remember that at the end of the day, you're just another player, right? You are just another person that is sitting at their computer trying to enjoy themselves and have fun. So it's a give and take.
Yeah. It's like we talked about this with the Mexicans last week. Like, you're your own main character, but you're not the main character. I think that's what people
Right.
sometimes forget, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then Nala,
And yeah.
what oh, sorry, go ahead. No, Karen.
No, I was just gonna say, because it goes both at the same way, to kind of go back a little bit of what Nala had said about the dynamic between people fearing law and stuff like that. It goes both ways. Like you don't have to be scared of my character, but she is a marshal, and if she asks you or tells you something, there should be some kind of weight that's taken there, whether you follow through or not. Like, and it's not just my character. Like, it's a give and take on both sides. Like,
Yeah.
we're all here to have a good time, and if it turns into who can big dick each other the hardest, like nobody's gonna win.
Well,
So
Marshall's going to win in the end because he's just you're just going to get pissed. You're just going to get pistol whipped and fucked into Sisika. Okay, then. So the other side of the coin is Nala. You go first in this here. What makes a good crim? What makes a bad crim? And you can name names if you want to. You know, there's
No, I'm not gonna name names. I would say what makes a good crim is just kind of back to the fearing the law, right? In the certain situations or the approach they go about things. It's sorry, my toaster is really being a toaster right now.
you're fine.
It's more so like if you are surrounded by six law and they're questioning you and you're gonna act kind of like a big bad tough guy, and it kind of goes for both sides, right? There should be a bit more give in that, and I think that makes good criminals, and I've seen it before. I would say bad criminals are the ones that kind of just they don't have any fear. They're like, "Oh, I'm a big bad criminal. I'm not scared of nothing." And it's like, well, you should be a little bit scared of stuff.
I think the one that I enjoy hearing about both in character and out of character is like criminals crying about being beaten in the cells. Oh, fucking Virgil came in and fucking motherfucker. It's 1899. You're lucky you're fucking breathing. You know.
That too. I would say the bad ones are the ones that always reference like police brutality and things like that. I'm like, guys, the year.
yeah.
Yeah, calm yourself. We don't have that yet.
Yeah, like that for me is also the frustrating thing is like my character doesn't participate in that. She doesn't hit people in the cells or anything like that. But she still understands the purpose behind it, and she doesn't necessarily stop that from happening. She might walk away so she's not a part of it, but she doesn't participate, but she still understands why. And it's very frustrating to continue to try to RP or to like be a part of that RP when you know why it's happening. And then the
Yes.
person in turn, instead of giving back on a back and forth dialogue between that particular marshal and that particular crim, it just turns into the same rhetoric of, oh, you're corrupt, you're a piece of shit, you're no better than I am. It's the same thing. There's never any reason why. There's never any like build up or RP of why they hate law so much. It's just, oh, well, you're just like I hear more people say you're a corrupt piece of shit than I hear anything else.
Do you
And
think
there's
that's?
never anything else.
Do you think that is down to like gaming mentality of not being able to take the loss?
Maybe. I don't know. And I get it too, because I know that there's frustrations with like, again, not everybody is perfect. Some people, um not everybody is a top tier role player that does everything perfectly. We're all, just normal human beings trying to role play together. So like I'm not expecting, like movie quality stuff from everybody.
Yeah.
Like we're $1 million actors or whatever. Um, but it just gets very frustrating to have the same kind of interactions, and it could just be that gaming mentality. Um, but my personal opinion, me personally, and I'm not speaking for anyone else, I think that it's also a community mindset of people. And
Yeah.
that was a very big problem I felt for 3.0. It had nothing to do with the role play that was happening between characters. I think that so many people had so many out of character opinions about people and vocalized those opinions and how things were done as a community, and that turned into a big community kind of like shit talk fest. Like
Yeah.
Nothing was more frustrating than to watch Fire Pit get lit up about how law sucks in Gold Rush and how shitty those people are because they roleplay law. Like, I'm not Delilah, and you don't know me from Delilah because you've never spent time with me. So how can you judge me as a person and say
Yeah.
that I'm a bad person because I roleplay a law character? And that was a very frustrating thing to see on a regular basis, because I feel like people that did play law back in 3.0 got a lot of out of character hate for choosing to play a role that is a necessity in the
Yeah.
server.
So, like, I want to say here that I said this before. I think it was in the last episode or one before. It's kind of why we're doing this. There is a big divide in this community, not only this community, pretty much every community, between
Yeah.
law and crim, or law and everybody else. Like, I mean, I've had people in my chat before, like, when I'm in the cells and my crim character, then they're going, yeah, dirty criminal, and it's like, yeah, yes, I'm a criminal, and you play a lawman, like, we're still on the same side. We're still role playing. You know, it takes two to tango and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that is a big problem. From both sides, Crim's like, see, my criminal character hates lawman because, like, as far as he's concerned, I've been left with nothing. They're part of the government that take money from my character. He's poor and all this, that, and the other. And
Drinking out of puddles.
yeah, drinking out of puddles, literally, and they've got all their fancy guns and all that power, and that's why my crim doesn't like the lawman. But like, I understand out of character that without those law, like, my character doesn't exist. You can't be a criminal, you know. And I think
Yeah.
that
And vice versa. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think
Mm-hmm.
people need to realize that.
Oh yeah.
I
rather
also
than-
I also feel that, like, people don't understand that with it being role play, and some people forget that it's role play and not fucking RDR online. They forget that if your character loses, it's part of your character story, right? You know, eh, if you win all day every day, that's very boring, very fast. You know, getting knocked down a peg or two, it's character. You know?
Well, I mean, every single person who's in chat now, right? 33 people, all think of your favorite film. Guaranteed, the main character is lost before they win. You know?
Yeah.
Every single one of them. One of my favourite
Yeah.
films is Rambo. Yes, he murders loads of law or loads of police in the forest, but that man took many losses. His whole life was a loss up until that point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
the thing is, though, if you're a criminal, right, and you're in the cells and you're like, you're actually out of character hurt because you've been arrested, like, that lawman's playing a character, like, he has to arrest you. That's his character, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know, it's one of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, it's gotten a lot better from what it used to be, for sure. Because I mean, I'm just gonna say it. It's been a while since my
Say it.
character,
Say
or at
it.
least the person on the other side of the role play with me as a lawman, has called me a dumb cunt because I've put them in a cell.
Oh,
Like, it's. I mean, that's the mild of it. Like,
yeah.
I have been, especially, and I don't want to get on some weird, like, male versus female thing, but it is, especially being a woman that plays law,
Mm.
when people get that OOC salty, and they bring that into character, and they're somebody that is a lot, somebody that is okay with getting that angry and trying to hit below the belt, you'd be surprised at some of the things that people will say to you in character to try to upset you or piss you off, because they don't like the fact that they've been put into a cell. They don't like that role play. They don't like that they've been given a loss, or whatever you want to call it. Like, they're just not happy about it. And that's the kind of stuff that can be very frustrating as a player,
Yeah, you gotta
because
just
that
be
makes me not
careful.
want to continue to do it, right? Like
Uh,
I don't, if I'm going to be called names and talked to by the way that some people have talked to me, why would I want to continue to be
Yeah, but like,
there?
so it's a very fine line, right? Because I say my criminal characters generally are assholes, right? And I will,
Yeah.
I I,
Oh,
I
what do you
like
mean?
the
No, no.
yeah yeah I like the RP in the cells, and I'm telling you, my characters they give laws shit, right? But just generic shit.
Oh yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I think this is why I urge everybody to like make a character. Don't insert yourself, right? It's the easiest way to say it. Because even if you lose on your character, it's fun, right? Majority of the time.
Yeah,
If you
it's
Yeah.
pixels.
if
Your
you
pump
lose
action
on
shotgun is not real.
if you lose as yourself, you've lost, and that can hurt, right? But at the same time, I do believe that like if you truly do play your character and you're invested in your character, that's going to affect you as well. So it really is about separating. But yeah, like this is something I had. This happened to me ages ago, right? I'm just going to say, I'm from England, right? We use the word cunt as like
It's the daily thing, yeah.
every day, right? It's
Yeah.
not offensive,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
I've called someone in character that once, and it upset whoever's on the other end of that, and it's like, but then at the same time, is that right? I like, are they in the right place? Do you know what I mean? See where I'm coming from?
Right.
Like, I could shoot you
Yeah.
in the face till your head falls off.
Oh yeah.
Do you know
Yeah,
what
and
I
I
mean?
like I think that too. I think that not everybody is going to understand. Like, look, don't get me. I don't mean to say like oh I got called a dumb cunt and I found it offensive. Um, I have Australian friends. Like I hear the word cunt all the time, so that
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me. I just I guess the best way to describe it instead of saying what they're saying
You can
is
tell when
the
someone's
yes,
being
the
The
connotation
intent,
behind
yeah.
how
it's
somebody
the
is speaking
spite.
to you. You can definitely tell when it switches from the in character role play to the out of character. This person is upset and actively trying to hurt you with their words. Like there's definitely a switch there that I don't know if other people see it, but I can definitely tell when it happens. But there's people that I know that might have an opinion of me one way or the other, and I will actively avoid those situations because I'm not like regardless of what's ever happened between me and any other character. I'm not going to go out of my way to force you to interact with my character. If we don't get along, whether it's in character, out of character, whatever, I'm not going to force you
Yeah.
to interact with my character and potentially cause that distaste because again, we're here to have fun. The point is to enjoy our time here. And if we can't have a role play scene where both of us are walking away and feeling good about it,
Yeah.
then I'm not going to force that onto somebody. So if there is somebody that I know that doesn't like me or my character, I'm not going to seek them out intentionally.
Mm,
So,
mm. So
and that's
here's
just me personally.
here's something I want to ask both of you, just an opinion, right? And this is just something, just in for example, if you took away all the need for like I don't know, like so you made things, so you made it so the economy, right, that money wasn't a worry. Do you think you see better or worse roleplay?
Um,
So for instance, for example, I've always thought that like a server where money and the economy isn't even a bother, then you see like people go mining because they want the RP of being a miner or owning a mining company. People
right.
wouldn't get arsey if they lost because they've just been fined $300 when they've only got 200, or like people, if people get robbed, highway robs, they're not gonna be like, fuck, I've grinded for a week for that. Like, and people are doing the RP because they're RPing rather than oh, I need to go and do this because it's the fastest way to get money. You know, someone plays a hunter because their character is a hunter, like, and they're carrying deer into town, going, oh, it's been on, like, what do you think about that?
I do agree. I think that people would probably focus more on the RP and less on the money. But I do also think that people will always find a way to put a value on something. They'll always find, because they're going to need to have they're going to have something that's going to allow them to, get what they want and what they need from somebody, right? Like they're going to have to put a value somewhere to say, I'm going to give you this, but this is what I want in return.
Yeah.
So I think that it could get people to improve the role play if they're not so worried about money and things like that. But I think that also on the same token, they're always going to find something to put value on in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
Nala?
so.
Or is Nala's toasted?
I'm not sure what I would do.
I would agree with what Delilah said on that. I think it's kind of a balancing act between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a tough one because, like, at the same time, as saying that, like, if you do it the other way, where you minimize, someone will always find, someone's always on for 18 hours a day finding the best way to earn money, you know? So, like,
Right.
yeah, it's finding the balance, right? But people, like, I mean, my character, I got, like, what, 1,000 something in the bank? So what? I still RP that I'm poor as shit, you know? Because it's not
Yeah.
about the bank thing. It's really
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so
Oh, here's something I actually should have asked earlier on. For the both of yous, excluding the Mexican, end of 3.0 story, what was your most memorable thing from 3.0 story-wise?
Oh no. Nala, you go ahead. I gotta think of mine.
Like that affected my character or just
Yeah,
memorable?
like what sort of like story scene, whether it was like a one-off scene or like a drawn-out story, what was the thing that you were like, I fucking enjoyed that? That was a good day, or a good week.
I would say the time Nala got tortured.
Right. Okay. So you're into that. Okay.
No, okay. Let me explain.
Okay.
I think you should.
Context.
Context.
And clipped.
Okay. So it was like a whole thing. The people came to Marshall HQ. They hatcheted the fuck out of Bill. So it's already like a stressful situation.
That's only Bill. But
it's only Bill. And then the whole scene of like why it was done and the story behind that, I think was really nice.
What's the short? What is the story like? What's the?
So it was the Disgrace that did it. Never figured that out in character. But they did it because Lauren was Nala's in-character wife. And she pissed them off so bad, abused her power against them. So they essentially took Nala to quote-unquote repent for her sins.
Right.
And I think that whole scene was really nice, really well done.
And does that carry, like, Torture's an interesting one because I enjoy GoldrushRP, right? And does
That's
that
something about you, buddy.
no comment. Anyway, does that, the way that affected Nala, does that still carry on in the 4.0? Is that part of, like, does she have core values now, or core aspects that, is she now afraid of knives? Is she, is that something that continues on for you, or?
Yes, so that's something that carries on. I mean, she lost her eye during that. It kind of also affected the way she saw her wife before her wife died and things of that nature. Like, there's a certain building that every time she goes in, she absolutely hates.
Yeah.
And that will always affect her in that way because of that building where it happened.
And Nala's an alcoholic as well, right? Like, let's be honest.
Well, I mean,
from what I've heard.
Look, Nala's been an alcoholic, okay, man? Mexico, definitely made it worse.
Right. Well, yeah. We got one more to answer that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Lydia?
It's kind of difficult for me to have anything for 3.0 in regards to anything that happened to Delilah, because 3.0 I kind of took a step back, both because of my health and because of it became very, very daunting. It was not 3.0 was difficult. It was not as fun as it could have been, I think, for me.
Is
I don't.
that from an in character playing point of view, or is that because obviously you're admin as well? Is it like a mixture of both? Or
It was mostly in character, because I felt like most of the RP that I was given was coming from a place where people were upset with law in general, and I it's also kind of been like a weird thing where I don't know, I haven't been able to figure out both in character or out of character, but for some reason people kind of don't focus on Delilah for something. Like, they don't like I don't know. And it could be my I don't know what it is,
are
honestly.
you saying that like they don't pick your character for say the things that happened to Nala? Is that what you're sort of like?
Right. Like, she's not
Right.
targeted in that sense
Because she's fucking 6'5" tall,
I mean, no one's gonna approach a woman that's like that tall, man. Like,
Oh,
come
I'll
on.
I
tell
don't
you,
know.
I know a
That's
character that'll
it.
approach someone that tall. Don't you worry, you'll still look down on them.
No, I mean, and it could also, I don't know whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But I did take a break for a good portion of 3.0. And I know you said outside of the Mexico thing for the transition,
Mhm.
but that kind of also reinvigorated my entire desire to want to come back and role play. Was being a part of that and being a part of the story, and having Delilah taken, and her kind of trying, like, Mexico trying to turn her into one of them and be on their side, and then having to choose between that and Nala, and like
And
that
then
whole
giving a
scene,
bunch
like
of people.
all of that role play, and having that kind of storyline, because I like Delilah was not even a focus of Mexico. She just happened to be the one that was taken for the week, and was like, I couldn't even log into the server on Delilah that week because she was supposed to be taken by Mexico. So I wasn't in the server role playing, but
Yeah.
being a part of that story, being a part of everything that's going on, and watching everybody kind of be a part of that whole story together in the server, it was very enjoyable, and it was so much fun to watch how everybody responded. The doctor's office, the game wardens, the lawmen, the criminals, like, and just getting to be a part of all of that was very fun for me again, and it really brought back my desire to want to role play again. And I know that you said no, don't no Mex outside of
Well,
Mexico, but that
no,
really was my
that's fine.
best.
That's fine. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
no,
my
no.
favorite part, probably, because
Yeah. See, I
it
actually
was
there was the
a
one.
lot
Mexico
of
was
fun.
great.
There was one time. Well, there was one time that Nala actually was streaming. It was the one Nala where you went over in the boat to the cove and fucking got Delilah. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking macheting
Yeah.
people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have the best clip now because she loves macheting people now. Well, wolves. Sorry, not people. Wolves.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I got ya.
I mean, I don't know. The people thing is still on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
a corrupt marshal, and I think of that would be a storyline.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was I gonna say? Well, that's a quick one. Are you guys allowed to put there's certain ranks in the server, OC wise, that are not allowed to be corrupted because of their position? Marshals allowed to go down the corrupt route, or no,
Um.
or no comment?
Within reason, like any, I mean, we don't have like special corrupt, quote unquote corrupt, um like permission outside
Yeah.
of any other law, like there's obviously a line between being an 1899 lawman and then what it would actually be corrupt, but as marshals we would still have to have that approval from staff. Like
Yeah.
we don't get any outside special privileges to be like more corrupt than other law or anything like that.
But there is
So
also in the rules, like marshals do get away with a bit more than traditional law do, right? It's like part of their characters. You can use more force than.
right, yeah. And I mean, like I think for the most part when it's kind of like doing it's nothing like big, it's nothing like, oh, we can go and give information to people or whatever. It's just kind of
Oh
more
yeah,
like
yeah.
we do have that ability to kind of overstep a little bit more when it comes to our treatment of the criminals and whatnot and things like that, and how we get our information and things like that. But every single one of us have to be mindful about how we do that and who we do that in front of.
Yeah.
Right, because we don't get a magic pass. Like if Nala goes into the sheriff's office and uh machetes somebody and machetes their head off for no good reason,
Yeah.
and
That would never
the
happen.
deputy outside sees it, like I can't, she's not like she's not immune to
Yeah.
being in trouble for just committing murder.
Yeah. Then
So
Pumpkin comes and knocks on your door, Nala, and you're fucked.
I mean,
yeah,
actions have consequences, right? Like
Yes.
yeah,
the use of force thing with marshals. Is there times where, like, you might have taken someone to an alligator and like
Like I
put
may or may
chicken in?
not have seen, one of Virgil's streams where he beats some guy and then, did you see anything, deputy? Didn't see a fucking thing, sir.
Yeah, it's
yeah. Well, and that too is also one of the things that we kind of both, like, not to get into the staff side of things too much, but also from the staff side into marshal's office. That is also why we are very selective about the marshals, because at the end of the day, the marshal's office is supposed to kind of be the the example of what law should be.
Yeah.
However, we do have that ability to be a little bit more aggressive, and it's supposed to be as like on us as role players and as marshals to understand
Let's not abuse it.
when it's, yes, when it's appropriate, when it's not, when it's too much, when it's not enough type thing. Like we need to be able to recognize when it's okay to do that and when it's not, and what to do,
Yeah.
and things like that. So
Yeah.
if we're doing it, it's normally to further like a storyline, like someone else's
Yeah.
storyline. Give them like not
Yeah.
something done all the time, and won't be something done all the time.
yeah, we don't just arrest people and then just go beat the shit out of them in the cells and then call it a day.
I don't know. You hear some of the stories out there.
I know.
Because I said this the last time, but I remember we got caught doing Moonshine 3.0, and I fucking headbutted one of the lawmen in handcuffs. I was in handcuffs, so all I could do is headbutt him, and I got the shit beat out of me, and rightly fucking so. It was good.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna do a little thing, right? Mark suggested this one. Let's start doing it every week. Right?
One second before you go. Chat, start getting some questions ready for chat questions.
Oh no.
There's a good one right at the top that I like.
Yeah, but just
Anyway,
start thinking of some questions, not dumb questions like what size is Nala's feet or something like that. They're like proper actual questions, okay?
We
Why is
charge
it gonna
for
be
feet pics,
Nala?
by the way.
Right, so every week we're gonna do this. It's we're gonna call it buying or selling, right? And I'll ask you if are you buying or selling? And if you're buying, you're gonna tell me what you would like to see back that's not here anymore. What do you want to bring back to Gold Rush? And if you're selling, then what do you want to get rid of? So if I say I'm buying baked beans coming back, right? That's what I would say. So like, Carter, you go on this one.
Oh, what I want back and what I don't want
Yeah,
back?
but just an example. Like buying, are you buying or selling? And then you'll go and you choose one or the other. Or do you want to get rid of something that it's pissed you off this week, or do you want to bring something back that's you've missed this week?
Fuck, now you put me in the spot. I'm fucking here doing this with you. Well, you've got to start. You're the one that made this up. Go. I had no idea about this.
I'm buying baked beans, mate.
You're buying baked beans. Okay. Okay.
Not the beans, man. Come on.
Well, I'm English, you know. We love the beans.
Yeah, I fucking love baked beans. Oh.
No, I'm buying the 5-finger fillet game.
Oh.
Well,
missed
what
that.
actually working? Cough, cough, mafia. You know.
It does
We
work.
only just
It
got
does
good
work.
at it.
Yeah, I just got good at it as Nala, and then they fucking take it away. Like, goddamn.
I don't even know. Oh no, I don't know either.
Okay.
We're in the same boat.
I am. Well, am I buying or selling? Fuck. I am selling having to do slash scenes. Put it on the wheel. Put scenes on the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm buying baked beans as well.
Oh no, not the bean.
Not the bean revolution.
No, I just doing, because like whenever I do grave robbing, right? Meta, I leave very large footprints, right? Because Carter's a big boy, right? But
It's a Bigfoot.
Fucking hitting T, right? Typing slash scenes for the first time, then tabbing up, and then making a mistake, on the wheel, bang bang, you're done,
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even think about ever scenes being on the wheel. I like that one.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing that I can think of right now. But a boat pull out near like Bacchus Station, underneath the big bridge, or like something way up in Coulter, so that we can like canoe down or rowboat down the rivers again. I loved that. That was so much fun. I'm buying that back.
It was there
Fishing
something up there in 3? Was there?
There was what?
Was there a dock up there in 3? Was there?
You used to be able, I think there was a canoe spot that you could pull out it was up in Coulter somewhere. And there
because
also
you can
used to
travel
be
all the way down. It's so fun, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can canoe yourself down from Coulter down. And then there also used to be a boat pull out right underneath the very big bridge, at the railroad bridge at Bacchus Station.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could rowboat, canoe, whatever, down that it's so much fun. So much fun.
You know what I'm fucking selling? These thunderstorms. They're so fucking loud.
Oh my god.
You know what? I
Mafia,
agree.
Mafia,
I
calm the
agree.
fuck down. Calm
There's
down,
too
sir.
many.
Fucking having a conversation. And there's no
Where it
rain.
just stops.
There's no rain. There's just fucking thunder.
And it just stops
Daylight-
raining, and then you just get
sunlight
more like
thunderstorms.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, okay. That was good. Questions from
Yeah. Oh, well, I got a special request DM question. When is Pumpkin becoming a judge? And that's from Sylvester, who I think plays Pumpkin. By the
Is it? You know what? Pumpkin is phenomenal. Pumpkin has been our DA for a while now, and he is just amazing, and he puts up with our bullshit, and I cannot thank him enough for all of the work that he's done for the DOJ.
Yeah, you can thank Carter and Charlie.
I wish I could tell you how that story started. I wish I could.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, I love Pumpkin to death.
He might have one of the best story arcs in the server. He went from, well, buying food for nuggets, golden nuggets off Benji's character Charlie, to shoveling shit to being the fucking DA, and probably has permit more people than anybody else in the server.
We love our Pumpkin. I'm glad he's on our side now.
For now.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding.
You stay away from our Pumpkin.
So, I don't know if you know this person in chat, but this is funny, so I want to read it. Did Delilah start out as a degenerate, or was that a slow slide into oblivion? Well, that's funny.
Like, what kind of degenerate are we talking?
I have no idea what that question means, but like, you know.
Wait, who asked? I can probably tell you who it was.
Who asked that question?
Dinka.
Oh, that's fucking. It's fucking brown.
Oh my god. Oh, he wanted to know if I'm the degenerate? Are you kidding me? He has more stories on Nala than Delilah.
Hey, whoa.
Oh, well.
That's not true. All right, relax.
Okay.
No, at the core of me have always been a degenerate. Delilah, not so much. Over time, she's become one.
Just trying
Oh,
to
this
go
is
back to
AP's question is very good. Okay, and we asked this to the Mexicans, and I'm going to ask it sort of every week. Mafia says, fuck 4.0, 5.0 tomorrow. You guys can't play law. Or sorry, you guys can't play Delilah or Nala. Do you go law again, or do you go crim? Like, your characters are gone. They're fucking dead, right? You can't play them again. You're making brand new characters. Would you still go down the law path, or would you go criminal? Or doctors, or, you know.
I think if I couldn't play Nala anymore, I think I would go with the law approach, but I would go with a different type of character that I almost
A big
brought
one.
into.
Yeah, something over 5 foot, right?
Well, sort of. Like, I'm talking like a rich person from the city, like complete opposite of Nala. Like, book smart, like street stupid.
I fucking love street stupid people. My character hates the fuck out of them, but I love street stupid people. Like, they walk towards danger because they don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, no
Exactly.
self-aware whatsoever.
I would do crim. I think. I think I would
What type of crim,
probably
eh? What type of crim would this be, eh?
maybe somebody that kind of starts off on their own and then maybe eventually ends up in some kind of family or I mean obviously there's gangs. I don't know. I mean, I have definitely wanted to try to do both. I'm just afraid that people are going I'm not good at voices, so I don't want people to like me run into somebody on another character and they're like, "Oh, Delilah, you look different."
I think you should give us your best Mexican impression, just you know, just for a
Oh,
I'll try
she
to say
did it
Martin's
once.
name. The best I can do is trying to say Martin's name. It's Martin. That's
Better
the
than
best
mine.
I've got.
This is sort of a side question from that there, because you said do you guys worry about like having a side character that is criminal because you're law and you know what I mean, like, right, you know the
Yeah.
response. Do you guys worry about that there? That's why you sort of like haven't dipped into it, I guess.
I think I worry more about what other people would say, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I can do
Towards
this.
what, do you plan a crim or towards
The assumptions that would be said, like the comments that would be say, like,
oh
"Oh,
yeah, Nala
yeah,
knows because Nala,
yeah."
her
I
cousin,
think, yeah,
the fucking the word, my cousin knows this, or you know,
yeah.
her cousin's this. Yeah, fucking stupid people.
Yeah. No, same. I don't want to play another character and have like cuz I also have a judge character as well and that is why she is specifically not a criminal judge. She is only a civil judge. So she only deals with things that aren't criminal because the my worry is that people are going to be upset that Delilah is involved in their arrest or their investigation.
Yeah,
But then I turn around and I make a judgment on my judge character and it's the same thing for a criminal character. Like I don't want people to think that there's some kind of like something weird going on where I'm doing whatever like because I used to be of the opinion that I didn't want people playing both because I there's always that potential of meta,
yeah,
but I think that it's beneficial for people to do both so that people can see both sides of things. And that is something that I also want to do for myself is to see like a deep dive of what being a criminal is actually like and what it truly means for the character to go through all of that.
yeah. Well, is there a rule like there was in 3.0 currently, where if you're like West, so you can't do crime in the East on a crime character? Is that still a thing, or has that been relaxed with 4.0?
It's still the same jurisdiction, but I'm pretty sure. I think we used to have it so like if you're in command, you can't have a criminal character at all because we want you to focus on the department.
Yeah.
But the only thing that we have right now still is that if you play both, you can't do crime in the same jurisdiction that your law person works in, just so that there's no crossover in like you investigating yourself or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
That's fair. This is a good one. What's a rule that you would change if you could? I don't know whether this is like a no. Benji, what's a rule you would change?
A rule I would change. I don't know. I don't even know the rules.
That's not a good thing to say in front of admins. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. That's a tough one because like they're all. I think all of them should be subject to change depending on the scene.
I think one for me is water dumping. I think water dumping is not allowed because mechanically we can't swim, right? We're all gonna fucking drown eventually. But I think if I killed Benji's character, right, I would ask him, can I throw your body in the water and like you wash up like fucking Mexico or whatever. I think water dumping to a degree, right? If it's like it's almost like do you consent to torture? Right? Do you consent to being thrown in the river and fucking you washed up like if I threw you in the river at Brandywine and you could like wash them up like armadillo. You know what I mean? Like something like that should be not change the rule, but like bends in the rule, like alliances, right?
Yeah,
that's just one that pops in my mind.
Yeah, I would agree with that too, and I think like that's because that's the goal, right? Like you want to allow the RP to be open to what is happening in the scene, so it would make sense. Like I'm kind of the same way in that regard. Like if a scene's happening and it makes sense for you to do something to my character, if it's necessarily a rule break, like as long as it's about the RP,
Yeah.
I don't mind, because I mean I've had situations. I think it was the end of 2.0. My character was a part of a kidnapping or something, and this scene it was an all day thing. They literally had me held hostage for, I think it was 6 hours at the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't care. If the role play is good and it's about the role play and it's about creating all of that stuff, I enjoy it more that we're not worrying about what rule are we breaking or not breaking.
Yeah, that's why
the role play.
That's why I said I think depending on the situation, they're all subject to change. You know.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing more boring than being a hostage in a boring situation.
Yeah.
Especially one that's dragged out and like yeah.
Yeah. When I see, I think too, to like your example for water dumping, like you dump my character in the water to, for whatever reason, but in turn, I get to, when I respawn, I get to role play that I'm drenched in water.
Yes.
Or, whatever, like things that lead up to, why I am the way that I am, as far as getting pulled out of the water eventually, right? So
that's the only thing I'd say like the difference between Red M and 5M, like on Red M, especially like Gold Rush, that there's no way to extend the roleplay. And I'm gonna say it now, personally, I'm about sick to death of something happening and then immediately the consequences of like your actions are just in your face. So that'd be nice to. There is no way of dumping a body and making them forget. No one does it because apparently you can't. You can recognize someone from their voice, even with the mask on, and you can't make them forget because they can just remember. I'm pretty sure the new life is not a rule, is it? The new life rule.
I think they still, like, if they don't get helped,
Yeah, it's like
they're
30
not
minutes
allowed
before,
to.
but like if the scene goes on for that long,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Well, I think
there's
that
ways.
kind of falls on the player too.
Yeah.
Like,
I think what I would go down that I have no problem going down, like, say, I torture Delia, right? And then I'm gonna water, like, me personally, I would be like, slash me, like, water dumping you, okay, yes. Remember, like, a large man. I would be like,
Oh yeah,
remember,
100%.
yeah, remember bits and pieces, right?
Yeah, like
Oh.
I'd put something in their pocket, like I like that thing because that's
Yeah.
Leave clues, like even I don't know, wherever they were found or whatever, just leave clues for them and stuff. It's
Yeah.
it's
Now, like, any rule you'd change, or Blanche's gonna put a new slice of toast in the toaster, or bread. Sorry, I almost fucked up there big time.
uh-oh.
Oh, I'm being called out on Discord from Simmons saying haven't even invited me yet.
Wow.
There has been 3 announcements about getting people on. DM me or
Numerous.
Benji. Me or Ben. Dev doesn't even read the Discord. There you go, called out. And honestly, Simmons is probably just gonna like join the call, just shout, bug reports, and then log off. We'll assume Nala's toaster's, getting up the temperature. What other questions have we got here?
let's talk about a simple one. Whitelist or public? What's your thoughts on the whole vote the other day? Pros and cons of each.
I think that going whitelisted, we've seen a huge improvement of the role play. People putting in more effort to tell stories and to kind of focus more on creating scenes other than just kind of standing around and like treating the server kind of like a VR chat space with each other, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like it's role play, so obviously there's going to be standing around chit-chatting and things like that, but when it comes to interacting people outside of your immediate group, people have been more open to creating scenes between each other rather than just continued social chit chat. So it's been nice in that regard. Um, the con would be that it has made the server feel a little more empty, especially for the people that aren't in the general time zone of where majority of the player base is. um and I'm a night owl, so I'm usually around late at night, server time wise. So it can feel very empty sometimes. I'm not sure how I feel. Like, obviously, from an admin standpoint, which I can't help, I want whatever is best for the server because I want
Yeah.
the server to
Well,
do well.
anybody should want that.
Yeah,
That's
I love the server. I love the community. I wouldn't be in a staff position if I didn't.
Yeah.
So I want whatever is best for the server as a whole, whatever that answer might be. I would
Sorry.
love to stay whitelisted.
Yeah, but don't you think, right, this is my opinion, don't you think it's crazy how the whitelist isn't the thing that's made the server better? Now, hear me out on this. 90% of the people playing are the same people that played on 3.0. It's only a mindset shift.
True.
So,
Right.
wouldn't it be perfect if you just had a soft whitelist where people could just sign up so that we know you're playing on your account or whatever? I don't know, do it in a way where you can just authenticate it somehow with Discord, phone number or whatever you have to do. And then you can go on and play. But you have the same mindset as if it was whitelisted. Do you know what I mean? So then it's easily accessible for people who want to do the role play that we're seeing. Like, everyone's a winner, right?
Yeah.
Or, potentially, this is an idea that was thrown to me. what if you had like, so when the server was at low, you had then 50 slots available for public until it was
Right.
full, and then they'd get booted out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of ideas that are being talked about and considered. And again, like I don't disagree with you. Like I think that it definitely is a mindset shift where we told people like, look, we want serious quality role play to be happening, or you're gone type thing, or like you're
Yeah,
not going to get in type thing, and that made people kind of realize, oh shit, let me step up my game. So that could very well be what it was, and not specifically whitelisting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, I whatever takes
mm.
to help the server
Well, like you said, when
flourish.
not everyone's a perfect paid actor, you know. Not
Right.
everyone's perfect, but
Yeah.
like, as long as you're trying, right? That's all you can ask for, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I mean, like, I guess then I would change my answer. Like, from I would like to stay whitelisted to I would like to see a way that where we can still continue to weed out the people that are going to come in for the wrong reasons, and but continue to allow people to come in and experience the server and show us their role play.
An easier whitelist, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, that could be the answer.
Good stuff. What else we got?
All right, I got one here from Jazz. What what part of your character do you wish you didn't talk yourself into? Like backstory, small decision that snowballed. Is there anything that your character has done that you wish your character hadn't have done? Oh,
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I have been in the time that I've had Delilah, I've been kind of very protective, I guess is the best way to say it, of her, and what I do allow to happen to her. Like the Mexico thing was the very first time that I allowed her to even have like a major injury that wasn't going to heal over time. Like this is the first time she had a finger cut off, and that wasn't even something that I chose to do. It was something that another character had left behind in a scene, and I was like, "Oh, what if we said that was Delilah's finger?"
yeah.
And that was the first time I decided to go that route, and it's opened up my eyes to the different possibilities of things,
Did did did
of all
Mexico
that.
did Mexico for you as a player playing Delilah? Did you just all of a sudden let go to a certain degree because the story was so big and does that make sense? I know you said you're protective over, it, but did Mexico give you freedom to just like not care about her, but just whatever happens happens type thing?
Yes and no. I mean, I still am kind of protective over her. Like I don't um I I it I don't want her to lose like every single limb that she has, because then what is she going to do?
Yeah.
Um but it does kind of open the door for the possibility of more things potentially happening. Um I mean, I guess I kind of did already have something that affects her now. I don't necessarily regret it at all. It was just kind of part of what I played into her backstory, and what actually happened to her in another server, which is also part of her backstory for Gold Rush. Um, but I'm not a good shooter. Like, I'm not good at shooting. So part of her story is that she has injuries that prevents her from being able to shoot very well. And that's why she's not always a great shot. Um, but
Okay, so in a shootout, shoot Delilah last because she's a bad shot. Got it. Got it.
yeah, I mean, like yeah, pretty much. I get lucky sometimes, but more times than not, I'm not a
Like
great shot.
E Marshals have that TNT. Just start throwing that. You'll be fine.
uh, no,
Dala, you. Oh, sorry, go on.
oh, sorry.
No,
I was
no.
just gonna say, I think I put a lot of stock into deciding big injuries for her. I don't make
Yeah.
those decisions lightly.
Nala, are you alive? First of all,
Yeah, I'm alive. I would say there's not really anything that I regret with my character either. Normally, decisions are thought out and everything.
well, yeah. Do you think this is the path she's going to go down, or do you think, well, fuck, I'm losing another eyeball type of thing? Like it is what it is.
Sorry, repeat that.
Do you sort of plan out like I'll allow her to get like this injured, or do you just go with like, oh, they're hacking a fucking ear off and that's just what it is? Like, what way would you be with that way?
So I do dice rolls. Everything is a dice roll.
That's
So it
fucking
all-
dangerous.
It all kind of depends on that.
All right, does Nala regret? Nala doesn't regret a thing she did in Gorma the other day. What's that there?
What thing in Gorma?
Sorry, that's too fresh to be meta. We can't go.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing happened in Gorma. So there's nothing to regret. It's all rumors.
All right, here's one. Simmons, because you're here, any questions as a viewer, Simmons, for any of these two marshals? Anything that you want to ask them? Expose them.
That's dangerous.
Exactly.
I'd like to invoke my constitutional Fifth Amendment right now.
Sorry, this Discord server is based in the UK. That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, why are y'all corrupt? Huh? Why is that?
Hang out with Nala too much.
Sorry, I had my cat meowing and I didn't want to.
Why are you corrupt, Nala? That's the
Why am
question.
Okay, hold on. I think
If you guys want to fire back at Simmons here, like fucking me and Benji will just fucking sit back here.
you know what? I wouldn't even say my character is really like. Has she done questionable things? Yeah, but it was sanctioned by the war. All right, the torture was all allowed.
Interrogation's the word you're looking for, not torture, by the way. Just
No. Nala tortured people during the war.
Allegedly. Pumpkin, don't fucking listen.
Oh no, Nala straight up tortured and executed people during the war, but it's okay. She had legal immunity.
Okay,
it's fine.
Yeah, marshals don't get special treatment. What?
That's right.
It was for the war. Okay, it was for the war.
Yeah, for the war.
All's fair in love and war
Also-
and all that.
Simmons has pistol whipped more people than Delilah ever has.
Oh.
Just saying.
Right. Do you two have any questions for Benji or myself as like criminals, or you have any questions?
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, no, I have a question. What advice would you give without obviously giving away meta information, but what advice would you give to somebody who is playing a criminal for the first time?
Slow the fuck down.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it's like so. Just a quick one. I come from GTA, into RDR. Slow down. Don't. There's a thing called Tarkov syndrome where you're scared to lose like your gear, your things you've collected, your guns, your weapons. They're just fucking pixels, right? If law catch you, they catch you. Just slow down. You don't have to wake up, log in, grow 100 swamp herb, rob a bank, rob a store, do moonshine. There's nothing wrong with a criminal just talking. If you talk about criminal stuff, you're still a criminal. Just slow down. Just that's probably the biggest thing is fucking turbo Andys who just have to run around and fucking get their thing. All stars. I think Mafia calls them all stars, right? Just like you don't have to do everything. Your character can be shit at shooting, like the marshal service. Your character can be great at like blowing bank vaults. You know what I mean? You don't have to do everything. You can just take your time and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think that's the big thing. Is
Yeah.
a lot of criminals and new criminals are like, gotta fucking find the black market, gotta buy swamp herb, it's just relax.
Mine would be, what I would say, someone that was looking to build a crim character from the bottom is like, think of the worst possible thing that could come from the action you're about to take, and if that happens, roll with it. Accept it. So if you're gonna go and shoot someone, and you expect that the worst thing that can happen after that is A, B, or C, roll with it when it comes. Like you said, actions have consequences, right? Take the consequences, or don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have your cake and eat it. It's one of them. And also, please don't dress in all black and mask up and rob people and never give a clue.
Yeah. Hands up, don't fucking move, don't fucking speak, and then just pocket wipe them. I think another thing is like, especially if you're new to like playing a criminal, right? Or playing a new, if you're a bottom of the barrel criminal, start at the bottom of the barrel. Don't be like, don't come in fucking dick swinging, fucking I'm fresh off the boat, fucking I'm the boss already. No, you're nobody, right? Reputation in character is everything.
Play your role.
Yeah. Like, start from the bottom, be the grunt, right?
Yeah.
Like in 3.0, especially with us as the Royals down in the slums, like, we had fucking Irish gangs, Italian gangs, and they just fucking, hey, I'm the fucking big boss. You've got like one boy and a cattleman, like, go away, just starting from the bottom is good if you let it be good,
Yeah.
Nala, any questions for us, or Delilah anymore? Or?
No, that's it.
Good
It's
stuff.
about like the only question I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I'm excited to start my criminal arc.
Yeah, remember, bright blue, not all black. Right. So
All right. Yeah.
Right.
Chat,
yeah, thanks
we'll
very
finish up
much.
soon. One quick thing. Chat, we are still looking for, well, Doctor means I think we've got a few now, Benji, yeah?
Yeah, I've got like 4 or 5, I think.
All right. Doctors, bad luck. You guys missed your fucking opportunity. Native mains, civilians, business owners, devs, fucking... yeah, look, if you guys fall into those categories, because we want to go through those before anything else, just DM me, DM Benji. Yeah, get around to you. Also, we're gonna have a special episode with Pumpkin at some point, the king of DA. And then maybe Mafia, so he leaks everything that Simmons is working on.
Not only that, because obviously clearly Simmons has a lot to say, we're just going to get him in here and he can talk for an hour and we'll just say nothing. We'll see what he's got to say.
Yeah. Right. Guys, appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Nala and Delia. Guys, we'll see you next Monday with whoever we've got.